Welcome in the ring. Let's fight. Welcome, guys. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. We had a good weekend at our end. Welcome in the ring. Those of you who are joining us on Twitter, welcome to each and every one of you. A great evening to you. That's what I was going to actually say. A great evening to each and every one of you. And we are delighted that you guys can join us in the ring. Let's fight. Lots to share with you this evening. Lots of information, lots of news to share with you guys. And we're going to start as per normal. We're going to invite you guys to share our live stream. Whether you're joining us on Twitter, whether you're joining us on Facebook, whether you're joining us on YouTube, give us a subscribe, a retweet on Twitter, a share on Facebook. Quite a bit of information to share with you. And again, we're going to hold until we reach that magic number. And I'm going to use my phone and share quickly to Facebook as well, practicing what I preach. I'm not just asking you guys to do something that I myself am not doing, but I'm asking you guys to reshare, retweet, subscribe, give us your comments. I'm going to pull some of them up for us this evening. We're going to say hello to a couple of folks as well who are going to be joining us. Say good night to some of our regulars. A good night to the trenchies as well. And all of those folks who are joining us at home here in Guyana. Those of you who are joining us in the diaspora. A very good evening to each and every one of you. You guys, as I always say, make this show what it is. Because if I am just here and you guys aren't here, I'll be just talking to myself. And the next thing you know, they're calling me Sylvester number 2. Remember our friend Sylvester Craig, who was talking to the members of the head table, saying good night to the members of the head table? I remember Sylvester. I don't want to be like Sylvester by any means. So I am happy to have you guys here with me this evening. Happy to have you guys here with me. And I'm sharing the live stream as well. Sharing to a couple of pages now. Sharing to some groups. This is how we got to do it, folks, because this is how we help each other to stay informed with what's going on. We want credible and valid information. Always credible and valid information. Guys, and at this end, I can tell you this. At this end of the ring, we are upping our game, wanting to bring you the information as it happens. You know, during the day, we put out information there for you. And quality programming, a quality visual program, all for you, because we believe that you deserve the best, and we're going to keep upping our game each and every program, ensuring that we have just what is needed for you guys out there. Thanks for joining us wherever you guys are joining us from. I know so many persons, for instance, join us from the diaspora. So many persons join us each night from the diaspora. And I really want to give a shout out to a couple of folks as you guys no doubt continue to share the live stream. So I'm going to say good evening to Bevon, for instance, and Carla Washington, Weslyn Williams, and Sonia Rigby, Genevieve Allen. Good night, former chairman Genevieve Allen. Good to see you on the live this evening. I got to pull you in the ring one of these evenings, Miss Allen. Good to see you. Junie, one of our regulars. Good to see you as well. And Rose Chappelle. Good to see you. Harry Duker and Uncle Harry, how you doing? How are you doing, Uncle Harry? Good to see you. Good to see you. How is Texas? Is it Texas, Brother Harry? Is it Texas? I hope so. Shireen Baker. Shireen, how are you doing? Shireen, how are things at your end? Where are you joining us from, Shireen? I see Claire Ashford is with us this evening. Carol Fortune. A number of folks joining us. Carol Fortune. Winston Grenada or Grenada. Vic Joe, Sharona, Pamela Sanchurin, Maxine Headley, all of these folks, guys, again, you make in the ring what it is each and every evening. You guys make the program what it is. All right? You guys make the program what it is. And we are grateful for each and every one of you. We are tremendously grateful for each and every one of you and thankful that you guys join us each and every evening. I see Maxine is saying that Mark is on and And my colleague Gavin is also on. Maybe I gotta sit down with these guys and work out this time slot, because I was under the impression I had the 8 and 9 time slot. So I don't know why Mark and I don't know why Gavin, my brothers, are infringing on my 1 hour time slot. And I'm always careful to finish at 9, that whoever's following have that slot free and the airwaves free for you folks, because we know that you guys need the valid and credible information, as my colleague Randolph Critchlow always say, credible and valid information. We are almost at the magic number, folks. Bernadette and Susan and Diane, Penelope and June, we're almost at our magic number. And guys, we ask you, we crave your indulgence to share this live stream so that we can meet as many persons as possible. Don't let's be stingy, you know. You guys can't come here and soak up all the information just for you and you alone, right? We gotta spread the love, folks. Spread the love. How did you guys spend your weekend? How did you guys spend today? You know, we are bursting at the seams in this country, though. Bursting at the seams. Things in the market going up, gasoline going up, cost of living going up. We are bursting at the seams, folks, in this country. We are. If we're not at a crisis, we are just on the periphery of a national crisis. Everything is breaking down. Law and order is breaking down in this country, folks. And we are going to be right here, ensuring that you have all the information that allows you to make the best decisions possible, folks. Great to have all of you. How did you guys spend your weekend? I'm eager to know. And also, where are you guys joining us from this evening? Especially those of you who are picking us up in the diaspora. Anybody joining us from Beijing, China? Anybody joining us from the North Pole? Where are you guys picking us up from? I see Vic Joe says he's joining us from Bartica, the beautiful town of Bartica. I would love to retire in Bartica. Get a nice little house somewhere close to the water. I mean, Bartica is surrounded by water, but the closest point to the water. And retire in Bartica. Everything there in walking distance, clean and tidy. The last time I visited, thanks to the Mayor and Town Council, they're doing a fantastic job. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about Bartica and some of the issues that are coming out of Bartica today. Folks, share the live stream. We're almost there at that magic number, and I'm getting ready to walk you through all of the issues of the day and to gauge your comments and your reactions. Junie, good night to you as well. I see that comment there. It's really great, folks, to be in the land of the living. You know, we got so much we can complain about, but so many persons didn't make it today. Didn't make it to today because of COVID and different other issues and ailments. But you and I were fortunate enough to see the sunrise yet another day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is enough to be thankful for. It is more than enough to be thankful for. So I'm not going to complain too much. We're still going to do a good night, except because some people is deserving of just that. So, folks, without any further ado, we have mixed the things up in the studio a little bit. So while some of the operators are going to be helping me remotely, you might see me glancing away a little more than usual. It is just to ensure that we have everything ripe and ready for you. How are you guys doing? Are you guys ready to go? Let's get ready to rumble, folks. Again, for those of you who are now joining us, welcome in the ring, and please share the live stream. Let's get ready, folks. Taking us through the hot topics. It was a day of protests. You had protests in Region 10, coming out of Region 10. You had protests in Region 5 and 6. It was a day of protest. Protests in Region 7. It was a day of protest. And just to bring you up to speed with what is happening, we saw, for instance, in Albion, Blairmont, workers called on Gaisugo to end for dragging on wage discussion. Yep. Workers from these sugar estates want a raise in pay. And they're not waiting on this government with sweet words and false promises, because they understand the PPP. 6 months in, Albion and Blairmont done tired of them already. 6 months in, folks. Albion and Blairmont already tired of the PPP. They call it for dragging on the wage discussions. right, for dragging, right? How can the union deal fairly with the sugar workers when the union is part of the PPP and the union that represents the sugar workers cannot budge unless the PPP tell them to move? The man that heads the union is a PPP parliamentarian that heads the sugar workers union. So where's the objectivity? Where's the objectivity? And so we're following the story of the Albion Blairmont sugar workers, who is asking this fraudulent, illegal, installed government to stop the foot dragging on their wage discussions. And while we're talking about wage discussions, folks, you all remember they said they got, again, I'm reminding you, something in the budget for public servants. We ain't hear no announcements yet. Right? And yet they say that they have something in this budget for public servants. Right? Well, Ganesh can tell you which line item that falls under or does not fall under. But we know it's lies. We understand it's lies. You had a finance minister stood up for close to 5 hours and deliver a budget, and never once during that time, because it was so insignificant, talking about an increase for public servants. Right? But yet, Catfish Barrett says that yes, something is in there for public servants. Well, the sugar workers want what is due to them. The sugar workers want what is due to them. And so they're asking for their pound of flesh. We also saw the nurses out of Linden. Right? You all remember that lewd CEO, Rudy Small, who was dismissed. Then the following day, that dismissal letter was rescinded. Well, the nurses, kudos to them, are still standing up to this Jagabat and PPPite, Rudy Small, with his lewd self, lewd, disgusting, immoral self. The nurses came to town today and they held a protest action in front of, I think, the Ministry of Health. They were also in front of the office of the president, I think it was, and they met with their union, their workers' union. Again, asking for Rudy Small, this lewd, indecent fellow, to be removed as the chief executive officer of the Linden Hospital complex. Right? So that is what is happening on that front. And also, we saw in Region 7, right? We saw in Region 7, these folks, citizens standing up against this installed administration, especially Nigel Darmalal. These folks at their CDC in Region 7 had an elections. Certain members were elected, and because it's not PPP people, the PPP quashed the election and installed their own folks. Yep. And these guys want to lecture us on what? Assault on democracy. Yep. They want to lecture us on assault on democracy when they are the real sanctimonious gangsters. They are the real sanctimonious gangsters, ladies and gentlemen. Right? They are the real sanctimonious gangsters. And we want to share some of what came out of Bartica with you during the course of the day. Folks, let's take a listen to that. Live from Bartica.
We are the people, we have the power. Right, and it's very disappointed on the ministry. They speak a lot about democracy. I can remember they call on the ABC country, the Caribbean country, they call on the European Union, they call upon the private sector, they call upon the Guyana Bar Association and all the sectors in this country that we can stand up and praise democracy. Where is it today? I'm very much disappointed. And if this government could have the chance to see this photograph, look at my face. I'm very much disappointed in the PKP administration. Very much disappointed. Michael Singh and Molly Thomas. Michael Singh, the chairman, the assistants. Michael, the assistants, Molly Thomas. This was how the vote counted. If you can look at this here, Charlene Paul, which was their choice, they got 35. And Michael Singh, the people choice, got 54. And then when they run for the assistant chairman, Molly Thomas got 40, and their choice got 24. And because the party did not get their choice, this is what they do. My name is Anthony Thomas. I'm sure I would never be you know what I'm standing here for on behalf of our people. One of the things is because I know Amarian people don't like to talk. They would sit there, they would see something that's not fair enough, but they would step aside and just listen to it. I stand up on all of their behalf. I'm a resident of Black. Very, very well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because this stuff. Big Mama's talking now, right? This morning, while we were here, together with the Democratic race, we heard about 3 days ago that Mr. Ward and Street and the rest came in and do handpicking chairman and vice chairman. Not for the people in the community knowing or anything. This, that, or the other. That don't be in that way. We normally get a meeting and we select our chairman and vice chairman. The people that always go for years. I don't know why they do it this way. The reason why it is why we are out here looking for justice, asking for justice. Thank you very much.
What's your name?
Vivian Liquid.
And this is at Agatha.
Yeah, Agatha.
So they are there, you see, you guys US. Good. Okay, here. All right.
The same thing, they choose an interim body for Agatha. You don't need an interim body. If they have to do an audit, get the audit done. And then hold an election so that we can have our chairman. We can have an election to have our chairman. We never had this before.
It's not now we waiting for chairman. It's a very long time we've been waiting for our chairman. And now we call on Mr. Ward, we call on the REO to represent us, and none of them, they're always not available. And now they keep a secret meeting behind the community back and choose who they want to represent us, who they want to be our chairman. And that is not right. We need justice. Everybody must go.
Go! Everybody must go!
Everybody must go.
Democracy at work.
You know. Give me some answers. Come down to the report. Now you get here. What's the body?
Rudy must go! Liar Rudy must go! Liar Rudy must go! Respect for Rudy must go! Respect for Rudy must go! Respect for Rudy must go! Must go! Must go! Right now!
About 100 nurses have traveled to Georgetown to protest outside the Ministry of Health, demanding that the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Rudy Small, be removed from that position because of unsavory remarks he had made about several nurses at that hospital. They have just left the Ministry of Health on Brick Dam, and they're heading now to the headquarters of the Guyana Public Service Union on Regent Street and Shiv Chandra Paul Drive, where they will be participating in a press conference that is will be hosted by the union at around 12:30. In fact, they are now passing by the office of the president here on Pleasanton Road to continue to vent their anger about not only the need for the removal of Mr. Rudy Small as the chief executive officer of the Linden Hospital complex, but also about other issues concerning their working conditions. No drugs, as you can hear in the background.
They're on drugs! They're on drugs! They're
No work. No work. No work. No work. No work.
The nurses are now passing by the office of the president, making their way around it on Regent Street, then to the headquarters of the Guyana Public Service Union, where they will be hosting a joint press conference with executives of the union. It is now several weeks since the nurses have in fact been on strike to protest the remarks made about them by the Chief Executive Officer of the Linden Hospital Complex, Mr. Rudy Small. Mr. Small has since unequivocally apologized for the remarks made, and he has committed himself to working for the benefit of all the staff at the hospital and indeed the Region 10 community. However, the union has rejected that apology, and the nurses are insisting that Mr. Small demit office because they do not believe that he will work in the best interests of the health sector. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Health has in fact said that they will not be negotiating on the duress, and they have called for the strike to be called off. Until then, they said they will not be going to the bargaining table to discuss the grievances by the nurses. Among the placards, Rudy Small has time to defame nurses' character but cannot produce resources for nurses to work, respect nurses. Where injustice's constant rebellion becomes duty, slander reveals the greatest truth, but without implementing it. Justice delayed is justice denied. Rudy plus Foreman's rundown hospital. It is better to protest than to accept injustice. Rudy Small must go. Respect our nurses. Nurses' rights are human rights. Those are among the placards being carried by the nurses as they now turn off of Pleasant Road into Regent Street. They're accompanied by police, ensuring there is proper traffic control. So far, the protests have been incident-free. It's just about 11 hours 40 here in Guyana, and we certainly will be coming back to you during the course of the afternoon with an update, possibly a live update in the press conference.
So, folks, there you have it. That is the nurses from Region 10, Linden, predominantly protesting there, and we're picking up that footage from Jamwara Waves, and the voice you heard there is the one and only Dennis Chabrol. Folks, that is the state of the nation. Nurses protesting. You have the citizens in Region 7, Bartico, protesting. You got the sugar workers at Albion and Bremen protesting. We're in a crisis, folks. We're in a crisis. There's a real assault on democracy happening currently. That man assaulted those nurses verbally in the worst way, and they got him still there. They weren't there installed, folks. Right? They're in Region 7 at Agatash and the other place. They're installed leader like Ali, like Catfish Ali. But the people are saying, no, we want true and real democracy. And as I was saying, usually during the footage, the insert, we mute our mic so that you don't hear some of the abusing happening backstage. Right? So that's what I was saying. Wherever you are in this country and you are aggrieved by this catfish government, you are aggrieved by this catfish government, the onus is on you to stand up for your rights. Get up, and stand up for your rights, ladies and gentlemen. The onus is upon all of us to do precisely that. To do precisely that. And folks, we are following the latest coming out of this country, and we turn our attention now to Giftland. We turn our attention to Giftland. Roy B. Pat. Roy had a lot of things to say during the election, and he's still talking. Right? And if you're like me, you're boycotting Giftland, folks. If you're like me, I don't go in Giftland for nothing. You understand? Because I understand that my money has power. And so I will dictate where I'm spending my money. The other day, I drove in Giftland driveway because when I went to 2J's or whatever the burger place name to buy some doubles in Kitty, they said the only stand that is working is the one in Giftland Mall outside under the shed. And so I went to buy some doubles. I haven't gone in Giftland Mall in a long time. And I don't intend to go in a long time. I will dictate where I'm spending my money. You understand? I mean, anybody who wrong talking now cannot get my money. Some of y'all better stay woke. Some of y'all had better stay woke. Alright. So Mr. Giftland today held a press conference to talk about his grievances as a businessman. I thought he would have stopped grieve by now. Right. And he didn't invite Gord Mosley and New Source because he and New Source got some issue. Folks, you think this country easy? He and New Source got some issue. So he chose not to invite New Source. I want to play a piece of that that press conference for you guys. I think we have it queued up. We're gonna play a little piece of it, and we're gonna come back on the other end with some discussion. Mr. Roy B. Pat, right? We're gonna play a piece of that for you because I think in that he would have offered an apology because the Guyana Press Association came down on him like a ton of bricks. The president and the association issued a very, very stern rebuke to Mr. Roy B. Pat, threatening to boycott his press conferences and asking the media to do same. So here is that, an excerpt from his press conference today.
First of all, I'd like to apologize if there's any insult perceived to be taken by the media association. There was none intended. There's a little personal matter which I think went the wrong way. But in terms of invitations, all media are invited. Somebody comes in, make a false accusation against you, drag you out your home to a station, and charge you with whatever. It means that we no longer live in a society where law and order mean anything. This is so wrong. That when the police can fabricate evidence, when they can fabricate a false arrest, that which of us is safe? Who is safe? Because of this, we filed a complaint to the Commissioner, the Home Affairs Minister, and the Police Complaints Authority, of which I'll be going tomorrow and making a formal complaint against Commander Parshram for this unlawfulness in coming in here and making a false report.
So, folks, Mr. B. Pat is complaining. Mr. B. Pat is complaining that the police is targeting him unfairly. That is his complaint, that the police is targeting him unfairly. That is the complaint of Mr. B. Pat, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Roy B. Pat. And, I had to laugh because we have similar complaints, concerning this fraudulent government. We have similar complaints, right? As a matter of fact, we felt and we feel that the police has been, unfairly targeting, a lot of folks and not some. Because, for instance, we have seen criminal charges dropped for Irfan Ali, Nandalal, Brassington, Ashley Singh, Claudette Singh, right? The DPP has dropped charges. But concerning other people, the police have been harassing them too. That is what we have seen, right? So when Mr. Bipa talks about there being no law and order, we feel your pain. And I keep telling you all, it's only when the shoe pinching, you understand? It is only when the shoe pinching, then people want to speak out, right? Police unfairly targeting Lowenfield and Mingo and Myers, Levan and February, Christopher Jones, James Bond, David Patterson, Colvin Heath, London, Rolson Adams, and the list goes on. Trevor Ben, just recently, Dr. Van West Charles, the list goes on. Right? So if there's anybody who know this acutely, are these folks about the people, about the police marching in and fabricating charges? Fabricating charges, right? But Mr. Bipat chose his bed. Mr. Bipat chose his bed. So it's a good night to all except Mr. Bipat. He chose his bed. Y'all remember when Mr. Bipat said that he's not opening his store until we have credible results? Right? Well, listen to the people in Region 7, the CDC, who elect folks, and the government, the PP government that you, Mr. Bipat, you helped to install, denying those people their democracy, have launched an assault on their democracy, Mr. Bipat. So good night to all except you. Except you, Mr. Bipat. You should be the last person crying out about police interfering with your business, and fabricating stuff. It's a government you helped to install. You helped to install. And so you're getting what you paid for. You are getting what you paid for. It's a government that you helped to install. Right? So it's a good night to all except Mr. Bipat. I thought you would have quick access to the president and to the vice president and the powers that be. Why are they harassing you? They ain't help you to go to court and win your case against City Hall, man. Why are they harassing you? You big and bad. It's not you didn't allow one Gordon to come to your press conference and now you're crying out. Oh, well, they got people bigger than you, I figure. They got people bigger than you. You thought you're big. But they got people bigger than you, Mr. Bipat. And if I were y'all, I wouldn't step a foot in Giftland. I would not set a foot in Giftland. It is your money and you have to determine how you're spending it. And I wouldn't set a foot in some other places too. Not only Giftland. I would not set a foot in some other places as well. Because we have the spending power. And they're attempting to bully us like Mr. Giftland wants to bully Gordon Mosley. But to hell with you, Roy Bipat. To hell with you and to hell with Giftland. We're going to choose where we're spending our hard-earned money. That's what we're going to do. Folks, quite a bit of additional information to share with you. And I'm getting some interference. I don't know why, but I'm going to try to make sure that we correct that. We're getting some slight interference. Somebody is not operating right. Somebody's doing something. Guys, let's get ourselves together. Let's turn our attention now to some health issues. And just a few moments ago, you heard the nurses talking about shortages and they get aspirin. It's true. Folks, it is absolutely true. They're lying. All the shortages that the nurses talked about there, they are not lying. Right? Firstly, I want to point out, the Ghana Chronicle today printed this story about this young man, Trevon Johnson, 11 years old. And Trevon has some I think they call it end-stage renal problem. Right? He's on dialysis. He is on some other treatments. He's 11 years old and he's facing tremendous health challenges. And our thoughts and our prayers are with Trevon and his entire family. Tremendous hardship. Now, there was a dialysis center. So this story in the Guyana Chronicles skipped over lots of important facts and focused on the hardship alone that is faced by this young man and his family, not stating that it's this very government who is responsible for some of this hardship. Because there was a dialysis center in New Amsterdam where this young man hails from, making it easy for persons in that region 6 and region 5 who have these ailments to receive attention. But you know what? Since this fraudulent installed illegal administration came to power, since then they have closed the dialysis center in New Amsterdam. And so this young man has to travel all the way to Georgetown to get his dialysis treatment. And we have spoken about this problem before because if memory serves me correctly, there's also a dialysis center in Linden that the government has stopped funding. And patients like Johnson, young Trevon Johnson, 11 years old, have been complaining of the hardship to travel to Georgetown. And having to pay because the previous government was subsidizing the dialysis treatment, right? Was subsidizing their dialysis treatment. And so not only do they have to incur additional transportation costs, they now have to find the money to pay the private institutions. And if you guys know anything about this ailment, it's a lot of money to do the dialysis. So it was quite interesting when I saw the Guyana Chronicles skipping over. Right? All they said was that the dialysis center in New Amsterdam was closed months ago. It was closed when the PPP took office because they have determined what is important and what is not important. And so while the newspaper chose to focus on certain aspects of young Trevon Johnson's story, they omitted large portions of fact. So the additional costs that are now being incurred on young Trevon Johnson's family are as a direct result of the wicked, devious, decadent actions of this catfish administration, ladies and gentlemen. And as I was saying earlier, and as the nurses were saying earlier, of the shortages, Georgetown Hospital has severe medicine shortages. Severe medicine shortages. And as the folks there continue to share the information with us, we are going to share the information with you guys. Right? And the list is here. Several critical drugs. Shortages. We also know that there are shortages at several health clinics. Right? Health centers. Several health centers. Again, a whole host of drugs. Diclofenac tabs. Prednisolone tabs. Ibuprofen. Right? Panadol. Augmentin. Peraton. Gravol. RBS strips. And some folks see a ploy behind this. And you have to give credence to it because it suggests that the government is allowing this shortage so that they can come with emergency buying that skips certain procedures and favor their friends. And you all are going to see in a few days, you're going to see what is the pharmaceutical corporation's name, with Bobby and the rest of them, going to be featuring loud and proud with billions of dollars. Right? If you had 2 aspirins who were missing from a health center, oh God, whole day, the catfish crew would have been talking about Minister of Health Walter Lawrence. Whole day. And now system-wide, you heard the Linden nurses talking about shortages in Linden of medical medication. Health centers are sending us information concerning shortages. Right? Georgetown Hospital, information is available concerning the shortages that are being experienced by Georgetown Hospital folks. Huh? PPP back. PPP come back. PPP come back. And we can point out some other instances to tell y'all PPP come back. PPP come back. This is a minister throwing up a big house. A minister throwing up a big mansion. Trying to rival Jack Dio. And when I put out information on Facebook, oh, the man said he worked hard and he was in several senior capacities in the private sector. This sounds like when Irfan was at the ministry. Oh, he saved. Irfan saved, and at 32, buy a whole set of land from the former Enmore estate. So the former Iflot estate, rather. A whole set of land. And a big mansion with pool and all of that. He saved money. Right? And you all remember the $16 billion man who used to work by the ministry, the presidency? Sheriff somebody. Who sell phone card? Yes, he used to sell phone card. 16 billion. Well, this fella said, well, he was paid, he worked hard over the years, and he was paid well, and it's just coincidental that he's a minister and he's building a fantastic house. PPP come back, folks. A fantastic house to rival Barrett Ocean View spread. A fantastic house the man building. Yep, PPP come back. PPP come back. This is what the city looking like now. Right? Because you understand in the past, central government stepped in and helped City Hall financially, stepped in and ensured that the city was spick and span for 5 years. Right? Spick and span for 5 years. And ladies and gentlemen, you remember that we thought that flooding was a thing of the past? Well, we're right back to square one now. Since the rain set up, the city flood, PPP come back. The PPP come back with all the old used tires. With all the old used tires, including she's a preposition. Including she is a preposition. Well, we learned over the weekend that she's a preposition was named Commonwealth Wise Woman. Well, they probably lowered the standards now for education in the Commonwealth. They're probably really lowering the standards now. Like, is there been anybody now getting prize? Well, if Bar could get, honorary doctorate, and you got to call a doctor or else he's offended. Well, I guess she's a preposition could get Commonwealth Wise Woman. Is anybody getting awards now? Right? That is how we have lowered our standards. She is a preposition. Folks, turning our attention to COVID, every goddamn night, put on your mask, sanitize, social distance. Watch the groups that you're living in. Shouldn't be groups bigger than 10 according to COVID regulations. But some people aren't care. Some people aren't care at all. At all. over the weekend, the owner of Sleep-In Hotel, is this the hotel on North Road? Oh, it's got a big lavish party. Twice arrested because his establishment has been breaching the curfew and other COVID regulations. Twice. Yep. He was so horrified by his first arrest experience, he went and do the same thing again. Yep. He went and do the very same thing again. Right? So we're looking to see when he will have his day in court. When the owner of Sleep-In will have his day in court, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, there are 27 new cases, confirmed cases of COVID-19. 27 new cases. And this is while we're vaccinating, which brings us to 9,187 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when this government, fraudulent, illegal, installed government, came in August 2nd, there were 21 deaths. Now there were over 207 to be precise. There were 474 confirmed cases. And from August 2nd, 6 months ago to now, 474 confirmed cases. There's the big figure. PPP come back. The PPP come back, ladies and gentlemen. They come back. And so, like the folks in Region 7, like the folks in Linden, the nurses, like the CDC folks in Region 7, like the Blairmont and Albion sugar workers, we have to stand up to this fraudulent, illegal, catfish installed government masquerading themselves about the place and spreading COVID and corruption. We have to withstand them, right? And the likes of BPAT, give us a damn break. Give us a damn break, right? They didn't even have to insult me like he insulted Gordon for me not to turn up. I didn't concern what he had to say. I didn't concern what he had to say. I was not going to go. So a good night to all, except this Jagabat. Except this Jagabat. Except Mr. Roy B. Pat. And you don't have to do what I do. But I say, your power is in your money. And you have to choose. Those of you who are at home in Guyana, where you're going to spend your dollar. Sometimes you might have to go a little out of your way to spend it somewhere else that might be even more deserving. But you have to choose where you spend your dollar. Do not allow people to disrespect you. And then you have to turn up and patronize from their business. Madness. Madness. These are serious time, folks. And I thank the Linden nurses and those residents in Region 7 and the sugar workers even for having the testicular fortitude to stand up against this catfish installed government. And that is my encouragement to you as we go this evening. We are right on the 9 o'clock hour, and I know there are other shows that are lined up after me that would need your attention. And so I want to thank you for spending this time with us this evening. A good evening to all, except Mr. Robbie Pat. Except Mr. Robbie Pat. Ladies and gentlemen, do stay safe. Remember, COVID is real. Sanitize, wear your mask, social distance. Watch the groups that you're living in. Even in groups of 10, social distance, folks. This thing is real. A good night, ladies and gentlemen, and do stay safe.